talk about the HOA, the video you sent me of John Oliver, which I don't really care for. But I watched the video. And
I don't really care for his humor either.
I don't. I think he has.
It was informative. I just don't
somewhat.
like his sense of humor is just kind of. I don't.
He's not funny.
Yeah.
You can just say.
Yeah.
But not saying that I am or anything, but I am.
Yeah.
See, probably got more laughs
than some canned laughter. Oh, I'd really that'd be
great. But I watched the video, which that was like, the video was posted like 2 weeks ago or so, probably. When you sent it to me, it was like 4 days before that, but so this might be old news to some people that are watching this, maybe not. But he talked about HOAs. What are your views on HOAs? For those of you that don't know, homeowners associations.
My experience so far, not that I've been a homeowner, but based on people talking about it who've been part of it, there's usually a few people that benefit from the amount that the group puts together. There's money that's in a pot, right? And I think we're talking about the same thing. And there's some people that are like in charge of these committees or like have some sway with the neighbors kind of thing. And so like they have agendas like lawn trimming services, and somebody who's in this like house that doesn't have a lot of lawn or doesn't care about that, their voice isn't heard about the way that they want to spend the money, because they're just one voice against a couple people or someone who has a lot of sway within the association, or it's really just a lot of precedent set. Like these are the rules, these are the ways that it's been done, this homeowners association. So there's a lot of things that houses need upkeep on, and it would be good if like it's just the basic stuff that money is kept aside for, like structural integrity or like.
So you'd say that homeowners associations are a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that they need to be reevaluated. In general, they get corrupted, is what I say. Is what I've been hearing. I haven't heard people have good experiences with it. I have not heard
that. I guess it was just the stuff that I was watching was just being more informative on how corrupt they actually can be, and they can actually have more power over your, like what goes on in your house than like local government can, because they can drive by your house and be like, oh, I don't like the shutters on the outside of your house, you need to change the color of them. They won't tell you what color most of the time they won't tell you what color you have to change them to. They'll just be like, we don't like that color, you have to change it or we'll start fining you. And there's no disputing that. Like you can try and take it to court, or you can even try and take it to federal level, but it won't. It's just all homeowners association claims, like any disputes are just considered like private
matters.
Private matters. So it's like good luck. They can keep fining you, and like if you just don't pay them any money, like they can just take your house if they wanted to. But it's just, that's in extreme cases. I wouldn't say that all cases are like that, but
so I don't like HOAs.
I feel like because I feel like everyone buys a house for a reason, because they like, nobody wants to, everyone wants to have their own space, their own, just like they want to buy their stuff and just be left alone, but they can't, because it's like, that's like suburbs living. If you live in the suburbs, you pretty much just have to go by like the rules of the land. So it's just like, you have to just play by the rules, and that's kind of why, that's a big reason why I won't ever buy a house in the suburbs, because I feel like homeowners associations are only going to get bigger from now, because it's just, the more population grows, the more people are going to go, so it's, 20, 50 years from now, it's going to be, huge suburbs just like everywhere. The population is just going to like expand and control, and there's going to be people that, government associations are going to need committees that it's going to like moderate, you know. Yeah, so homeowners associations are going to get bigger, and this is a bad thing for us, but it's a good thing for the government.
Well, so my thing is basically everything you said about homeowner associations can be applied to the government. It's the same. It's essentially the same thing, except that the homeowners association is an entity where you voluntarily enter into a contract with it. You don't do that with your government. I mean, yes, you could move local, like, to a different government and have a different local, or to a different location have a different local government. So you have some play there, but being under the authority of the United States government, it's like we don't have a choice. And I guess sorry,
For the most part,
you do
for the
kind of
most
have a
part.
choice. You could move out of the country, but you have less of a choice. With the homeowners association, it, like, the government not getting involved because it is a private matter. I believe that's the right course of action. I don't think it's right that they take advantage of people, but the solution, I felt like the John Oliver video, which is not surprising that his kind of I guess the feel that I got from it was that he was saying that the government needs to do more to crack down on these HOAs.
But
And
I don't feel like they would ever. It's not in their benefit to.
well, no, I have some ideas on that. Is that it might be in their benefit, not in their benefit immediately to do that, because if they let these things grow big, they can either control them or use them as a reason to get people riled up and give the government more power. So I don't think that they're necessarily a good thing, but I think that the solution is that people need to not live in HOA or be more educated on or aware of what their contract is that they're signing, because they're signing a contract, and I don't have a problem with signing contracts. I mean, or private contracts with people, but between two consenting parties. But because some of the one of the arguments in that video, or one of the points that he brings up, is that sometimes you don't even know the rules, or I don't know if it was a specific rule, I can't remember, but the rules until you sign the lease. And it's like, well, then don't, if you know, if that's going to be the case, then don't sign the lease. Like, don't go and live somewhere like that. And I know that there'll be people that'll say, well, these people don't have anywhere else to go, and they, this and that and that. No, you always have somewhere else to go. It may be hard. It may be hard to go and, live somewhere else, because you're going to have to move away from family, friends, a job. You might have to move to a smaller place, live in a smaller place, or not as nice of a place. But there's always an option, and you're trading your freedom for comfort, or it's not, that excuse of people having nowhere to go. Like, when people say, oh, if you have a problem with the cities, get out of the cities. Well, there's no excuse to not get out of the cities in my mind. You can walk if you have to.
Right.
Like, but that's just my my take, is that it's basically doing the same thing as the government's doing. And I found it kind of funny that like people get upset about it, which I don't disagree with, but it's like, but the same outrage is not applied to the government. And it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, but except that you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice in the matter when it comes to the government. You don't have a choice if you pay taxes to the government. Like, you have a choice if you pay to the homeowners association because you don't have to live there. And maybe it'll get to a point where they take over everything. But the government already has that covered, so I mean,
So the government can tell you what to do with your house, what you can and can't do with your house.
to a certain extent, maybe not as much as a homeowners association, but yes, like if you wanted to build something, or I mean, there's certain government rules and regulations, and they city by city. Like, for example, we can't have chickens here. It's like, well, that's why not? And or like, if you have a fire pit, it's got to be 25 feet away from your house or something. There's always a distance that it has to be away from your house. It's like, well, I get that you're worried about house fires, but or the house catching on fire, but it's like, who sets that? Like, why?
Yeah, because I feel like something needs to be done sooner rather than later about homeowners associations, because as I was saying, like, 20 to 50 years from now, well, I'm sure something will get done eventually, I'd hope, but it's like, as population grows, suburbs are going to get more and more prevalent, and likewise with homeowners associations. So there's going to come some point in the future where there's going to be so little, there's always somewhere you can go. You can go live up in the mountains and strike some dirt and, try and build your own cabin. But, not too many people are going to want to do that. And so it's just going to be, I'm just saying that's like, there's going to come some point in the future where homeowners associations and suburb living are going to be so unavoidable for most people. So that's what I'm saying. It's like homeowners associations just have so much power over, which is kind of unfortunate in my opinion. Like, sure, they provide they help the housing market. They help, like, if you're trying to sell your home, they try to keep they try to keep a nice, tidy neighborhood. So it's, they try to keep all those things, but just the amount of power that they have, it's like taking away, like in that video where it's like the one guy just wanted a bench to sit on in front of the house, like some 80-year-old guy, like, just wanted a bench to sit on and, like, watch the birds, watch the squirrels, and, like, homeowner association's like, nope, you can't have that. You gotta take that out, or we will come and take it. And so it's just like, and there's nothing you can do about that. Like, sure, it's like, yeah, you can just sit there with a gun and just do all that, but it's like, that's not gonna get you very far. But then they start charging people fees for having, like, wrong color shutters, like $10 a day, $20 a day, and just like they can charge you as much as they want. Like, it's just all in how corrupt the homeowners association is. And yeah, so
why do you say that's corrupt?
I say that's corrupt because well, it has a potential to be corrupt, because if somebody wants to set those rules, like, what's their, like, who's there to stop them? Just that committee that's around that person making those decisions. It's like, it has very high potential to be corrupt by whoever's running those laws and regulations.
So I look at corruption as I think differently than you. When it comes to so corruption in government, we like to think that the government is supposed to be there to serve the people. I don't think that it ever really has. But when you have corruption is when they divulge from that path, or serve their own interests, those in government. Whereas difference I see with the homeowners association. They are taking advantage of people, but I don't know if that's corruption. I don't know if it's not like an outside. It's not outside their I guess business model or whatever you want to call it. And I think the solution to them taking advantage of people, or if you want to call it corruption, that's fine. Is the free market, is free, is choice, is consent, is people are consenting to these terms, and I think that's if the fear that I have with all I guess whenever somebody has a problem with an unfair contract that has been signed or whatever, you sign a contract, you sign terms and conditions, and then people want somebody else to step in and be like, oh, you can't do that. That's a slippery slope to me. Like, who's gonna pump the brakes when those people stepping in, whether it be the government or whoever, when it gets too far, the intervention gets too far. The other question that I have, which we probably don't have an answer to, I didn't look it up, but I just thought of it, like, how much of these homeowners associations, because a lot of times these places that have homeowners associations are built or developed with that in the developing contract or whatever, but like, how many of these developments are in some way government funded or government subsidized or what have you? Like, is the government providing the necessary capital for these homeowners associations to exist?
Yeah, because I feel like the homeowners associations contribute money to the government. Like, just like any business or any people who get money within a government, they're gonna have to pay taxes to the government. They're gonna have to pay their piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I was saying earlier, like I don't feel like government would ever immediately want to step in to try and regulate them, because it's not really in their best interest to do that, because it's for one, they have so many other things to worry about than like what they consider private matters. So it's like, and plus, like, if they're getting money for all these things, and it's like, I guess all I'm really trying to say is about homeowners associations is that I don't like them, and I would never move into a suburbs. I would always, I would never buy a home in the suburbs, is what I'm saying.